If you've clicked on this video, you probably have either received a speeding ticket in your camper van, or you were unaware of any difference in speed limits when it comes to a light goods vehicle. So I'm just going to tell you the story about what I did when I got a speeding ticket in this camper van. So about 3 weeks ago, I received this, a speeding ticket in my Vauxhall Vivaro long wheelbase camper van. The speeding offence was travelling at 69 miles per hour on a dual carriageway, which should be 70 miles an hour. So technically, I was actually 1 mile an hour under the speed limit. And I was actually picked up by a manned camera. So that means it's somebody sat in a van with a camera. They normally has like police camera unit written on the side or something like that. And they film you out the back and they just scan your number plate. The first thing that I had to do was obviously accept that I was the driver of the vehicle. So once you get your letter through, it does say you scan this QR code, and then it just literally just goes through the process of you saying, yes, it was definitely me driving. But if you also look on this letter that you get, bearing in mind this is for Devon and Cornwall Police, yours might be slightly different because you might have been caught in a different area. Down where it says additional information, it says, if you have any further questions, please email us at road.safety.team@devonandcornwallpolice.pnn.police.uk. So there's literally a link for you to send off any inquiries. So I emailed them and explained, yes, this van may look like a commercial vehicle from the outside. It has no windows in it. It literally just looks like a bog standard white panel van. But on the inside, it's a fully converted camper van. So I'd like to appeal this fine. They then responded to my email. It said, thank you for your email. I can advise that the DVLA has the vehicle as being a light goods vehicle. All alleged offences are processed in accordance with the information provided by the DVLA. So as we're all aware, this van will not qualify to be changed through the DVLA. There's 4 categories which this van has to pass in order for them to be happy that it's technically a camper van and not a light goods vehicle. So category 1 says seats and a table. So the seats and table must have the following features. There shall be an internal part of the vehicle living accommodation mounted independently of other items. So in other words, what they're saying is you can't just put like a camp chair in the van and say, well, it's got seating. Category 2 is the sleeping area. The sleeping area accommodation shall be an internal part of the vehicle living accommodation area. Can be either beds or beds converted from seats, which is what I've got in here. So you can either have a fixed bed or you can have a bed that can be converted itself. Cooking facilities. Now this is important. Your conversion must have a minimum of a single ring cooking facility or microwave. The microwave part is very important. Which shall be secured directly to the vehicle, floor or sidewall, as a permanent feature. If the cooking facility is fueled by an onboard gas supply, the fuel reservoir must be secured in a storage cupboard or a reservoir secured to the vehicle structure. Okay, so essentially what that's saying is if you had a portable gas cooker in your van, that would not count. If you had a fixed gas cooker in your van, then the gas canister itself needs to be in its own separate compartment. That's how I interpret that anyway. I have that in this van, but rather than save any grey areas, I went for the other option, which was the microwave. All I had to do was put a microwave on the countertop of the van, screw it to the wall so that it was a permanent fixture, and then that qualifies. And then the final section is storage facilities. So the storage facilities can be a cupboard or locker, form an integral part of the vehicle living accommodation, mounted independently of other items, unless incorporated below the seat, sleeping accommodation or cooker. So in other words, if you've got storage under your bed, under your seating, under your kitchen or in your kitchen, then that counts as well. And it obviously again must be secured permanently to the van. So they don't want anything that you can sort of take out and put back in whenever you want to. Having read all that, then all I had to do was reply to that email and just send them all the photos that they required. They wanted photos of the exterior of the van. So what I did is I sent them pictures with the doors open so that you could see that outside of that van, it's the same vehicle as what's inside, because what they don't want is for you to send them like a load of pictures of the interior of the van and not actually be your van. It's your mate's van that's fully converted and yours is still a builder's van. And then once I sent it off, I then had to play the waiting game. So after a week of my first initial email of actually contacting them and then sending them the photos and then telling me what evidence they need, they actually replied saying, thank you for your emails. I am satisfied that the criteria has been met. I have cancelled this offence for you. Please note that while the vehicle is classified as a light goods vehicle, it may incur future offences while travelling on single and dual carriageways. If that happens, please contact us again. Many thanks. This is the bit that really sort of frustrates me, is that I've supplied all the evidence, right? So now, if it happens again, which it will, I then have to go through all of this again by sending off emails, sending off pictures, just to prove that this van is what I say it is. Whereas you'd think that they would just literally log my registration and go, okay, next time this comes in, we'll know that it's actually not a commercial vehicle. But all I've done is all the pictures I've taken, I've saved in a folder on my computer, so that if it happens again, I don't have to come out and take all the pictures again. I literally can just email them straight away and say, here's the evidence, can you please sort this out? Now, for anybody that's worried about this, you've got two options. If you don't want to go through everything that I've just been through, which was, to be fair, pretty straightforward, you just need to drive 10 miles an hour lower on a dual carriageway, so you need to do 60 in a 70 and 50 in a 60 on a single carriageway. Or you continue to drive at the speed that you're doing and then wait for your offence letter to come through, and then you just appeal it like I did. Again, this is what I experienced while dealing with this. I'm not necessarily saying that this will work 100% of the time, so make sure you do your own research. But I've spoken to a lot of people, and you know, there's quite a few people out there that drive these vans, and they have no idea that they should be driving at a slower speed anyway. So when they get a speeding ticket, the majority of people don't even think, oh, can I appeal this? They literally just pay and get 3 points on their license or do a speed awareness course. There are other options, and this is proof that it works. So hopefully you found this video helpful or interesting. It's completely different to what I normally do. I normally make van build videos, or I am out camping in my vans. So if you're into that, then subscribe. But other than that, I'll see you soon. Cheers.